Hey third graders, as you can see today we're combining lessons 9-2 and 9-3 because they both deal with adding two different 3-digit numbers with some regrouping. Time for the visual learning video for 9-2.
How can you use addition to solve problems? Think about this question during the lesson. Jason's family drove from Niagara Falls to Albany. They drove 119 miles in the morning and 187 miles in the afternoon. How far did Jason's family drive? How do you know what numbers to use to solve the problem? The distances that Jason's family drove are shown on the map. Find 119 plus 187. Before finding the exact miles, estimate by rounding to the nearest hundred.
An estimate can help you check whether or not your answer is reasonable.
Which equation gives this estimate?
Select your answer.
So the add-ins we're working with are 119 and 187. So we're looking to see which of these equations shows the right estimate for both add-ins. 119, rounded to the nearest hundred, is 100. Both of these choices have 100 listed. 187, rounded to the nearest hundred. Is that closer to 100 or to 200? It's closer to 200, right? If we were to picture this on a number line, 187 is to the right of 150, the halfway point between 100 and 200. So between these two options, the correct estimated equation is 100 plus 200 equals 300.
$100 plus 200 equals 300. So 119 plus 187 is about 300 miles. Is there another way to estimate the sum?
Sure.
Yes, you can round each addend to the nearest 10. 120 plus 190 equals 310. Now find the exact sum. Step 1. Add the ones. 9 ones plus 7 ones equals 16 ones. Regroup. 16 ones are equal to 110, 6 ones. When you regroup, you name a whole number in a different way. Step 2. Add the tens. 110 plus 110 plus 8 tens equals 10 tens. Regroup. 10 tens are equal to 100 0 tens. Why did you regroup both the ones and the tens? There are more than 9 ones and more than 9 tens. What do the two small ones above 119 represent?
This is an important question. These are not just ones, right? Think about our discussions with place value. So the value of this digit 1 is 10 because it's in the tens place. This is the same digit, it's 1 also, but its value is 100. And why are they up here?
The ones show the regrouped 10 and the regrouped 100. Step 3. Add the hundreds. 100 plus 100 plus 100 equals 300. Jason's family drove 306 miles. The answer is reasonable since 306 is close to 300.
And what they mean is, remember, before we found the exact answer, we estimated the answer by rounding to the nearest hundred. The estimated answer was 300. Then we went ahead and did the steps to solve for the exact answer. And since the exact answer, 306, is close to the estimated answer of 300, we know that our answer is reasonable. If we were way off, if this answer was far from the estimated answer, we probably made some sort of calculation error. But we did not.
Now you know how to use addition to solve problems.
This is guided practice on page 483, 9-2. So follow along. Number 1, Sue scored 236 points during the first half of her basketball season. She scored 285 points during the second half. How many points did she score during the entire season? So we should recognize this as a word problem that will require the operation addition in order to find the answer. You can see that the bar diagram shows the two parts that are going to need to be combined to get the total. All right, so on the side or wherever you have space, let's start solving the problem. It doesn't say in this particular case to estimate first, so we'll start with finding the exact answer. 236 plus 285. Step 1, start by adding the ones. 6 plus 5 equals 11 ones. 1, 1, regroup for 110. Oops, that's supposed to be a 1. And now add the tens. 110 plus 310 is 4 tens, plus 8 tens. What's that? 12 tens, right? So we regroup. 12 tens is equal to 2 tens and 100. Now add the hundreds. 100 plus 200 plus another 200 equals 500. So our exact answer is 521 points. In step 2, or problem 2 in guided practice, it's asking us to estimate, well, it is asking us how can you tell if your answer is reasonable, and I think one way we can do that is by estimating. So let me write down the answer over here, 5. Yeah, I know. You don't have the stylus. 521. And then I can clear this workspace here. Okay, so let's take 236 and this one and round it to the nearest, what? Let's round it to the nearest 10. Let's get practice. So is 236 closer to 230? Draw a number line. Or 240. Where would 236 be on the number line? Halfway would be 235, right? So 236 would be right about here, just to the right. So our estimate for 236 is, rounded to the nearest 10 anyway, is 240. Now we want to estimate 285 rounded to the nearest 10. So 285, and that is going to be right in the middle, right? Right there. So remember the rule is if it's halfway or greater, then you round up. So 285 rounded to the nearest 10 is 290. Okay, let me erase my handy dandy number lines. Here's our estimated equation, almost. equal sign. Well, let's do it down here. So now, okay, add the zeros. 4 tens plus 9 tens equals 13 tens. Regroup. 100 plus 200 plus 200 is 500. So our estimated answer is 530. That is close to our exact answer. So our answer, 521, is reasonable. And so what we could do is we could round 236 and 285 to 240 and 290. And we could have rounded to the nearest 100, just the same. And the estimate would have also been close to 521. Okay. Number 3. Well, in numbers 3 through 6, it says, estimate by rounding to the nearest 10. So it's good we got some practice with that. Nearest 10. You can highlight that or circle it or whatever. Then find each sum. So that's the exact, then you find the sum of the estimated addends, and you find the exact answer. That's not super clear in the directions. So let's do number 4. I'm going to try it this way. Nearest 10. So I'm going to take 538. Let me just, oops. Try to use black. 538 rounded to the nearest 10 is 540. Right? And then 429 rounded to the nearest 10 is 430. Now fun. Now find the sum. 0 ones, 4 tens plus 3 tens is 7 tens, 500 plus 400 equals 900. So here's our estimated sum. Now, in this tiny space here, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but you can do this in your workbook. To find the exact sum, they've already added the ones. Well, partially. They did the 8 plus 9 equals, we know it's not just 7, it's 17. So it's 7 ones, and like I said, it's hard for me to write it. Okay, I had some technical difficulties. So we were working on number 4. We already found the estimated sum. That was 970. I'll just put that up here so we remember. And so we're adding the ones. 8 plus 9 equals 17. So we've got 7 ones and regroup for 110. Now add the tens. 1 10 plus 3 tens plus 2 tens equals 6 tens. I don't know if I'll be able to squeeze it in right here. I'll try. And we don't have to regroup. Nope. After this, so 500 plus 400 equals 900. All right, so 967 is our exact answer. That is close to our estimated answer of 970. So it's reasonable. Okay, let's go ahead and erase this and try number 6. Guided practice. All right, well, for this one, why don't we, it says round to the nearest 10, remember, right up here in the directions, rounding to the nearest 10. So let's follow those directions and do that. So 391 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 390, right? 609 rounded to the nearest 10, 610. So you're choosing between 600 or 610. Now if we add those up, 1,000 is our estimated answer. All right, so now for the exact answer. They've solved part of it for us. 1 plus 9 equals 10. So they've written the 0 tens, and we need the 1 10 up there regrouped. Now add those tens. 1 10 plus 9 10. Tens equals 10 tens. Now squeeze in a 0 here. See? It looks like a 6. Okay, and then 100 plus 300 plus 600 is what? How many hundreds? 100 hundreds. So how do we write that? 0 hundreds and 1,000. Okay, that was a bit messy, but our answer is exactly the same as our estimate. Remember, those are zeros, not sixes. So that is a reasonable answer, especially when it matches exactly. Okay, 1,000. You get the idea. 1, 0, 0, and there's already a 0 there. All right, and that's it for guided practice today. Next slide shows what you need to do for independent practice. If you're doing online work, there's all this stuff listed over here. You're going to find that you need to click into 2 different assignments. First, find the one for 9-2. That's basically part 1 of today's work. You're going to watch the Another Look video. You'll see that there's a game there, but don't play it yet. Do the quick check first. As always, there's only 5 problems. Solve the problems on a separate piece of paper or whiteboard, and then enter in your answer on your keyboard. Don't forget to click Submit My Test. Then after you finish those 2 steps, you can play the game at it if you want. If you want to skip it for now and go into the other assignment, part 2, that's in 9-3. It's also about regrouping when we're adding 3-digit numbers, so you can choose which video you're going to watch, visual learning video or Another Look. Of course, you can watch both if you feel like it. At that point, for the practice, for 9-3, you can do the quick check or the practice buddy. At that point, if you have time and you skipped the game at it, you can go back into your 9-2 assignment, find it there, and try playing it. All right, so that's it for the online work. I'll be sure to check and see your progress and what you've completed. If you'd rather work in your workbook, these are kind of random numbers. I didn't want you to have to do, 4 pages of work today. So I just picked a few problems on each page that I thought would be helpful practice for you. Remember to read the directions carefully to see if it asks you to round to the nearest 100 or round to the nearest 10, and then add those rounded add-ins together to find your estimated answer, just like we did with the guided practice. Then go ahead and find the exact answer. So you can see for yourself the page numbers right here. And the second part of today's independent practice work, for those of you working in your workbook, is listed here. So go ahead and pause the video and maybe you want to sticky note these pages in your workbook or go through and circle the ones or highlight the ones that I've listed here, because you don't need to do them all. That would take too long. And I think this will be enough practice for you. All right, so be sure to pause this if you need to circle the problems in your workbook. And if I didn't see you on Tuesday or Wednesday for the math check-in, I expect to see you today, Thursday. Thanks, everyone.